Some concepts about Terraform state file. So what is Terraform state management? Terraform state management refers to how Terraform keeps track of the real world cloud resources it creates. So it keeps track of the real world cloud resources it creates. And Terraform stores this information in a file called terraform.tfstate. I ran this and I ran earlier, right? So you can see this Terraform state file was created when I did lab for locals. When I did lab for outputs also, you can see Terraform state got created. Okay, so Terraform stores this information in a file called terraform.tfstate. And why do we need this state file? We need this state file because Terraform needs to know what already exists, what is already created, and what needs to be created now, what needs to be updated, or what needs to be destroyed. So these all things will be figured out using this Terraform state file. So the Terraform um, developers logic is that whatever is there in the code, like your code, that is a decide state. So that is something you wanted to build on cloud or on premise. So here we are trying to build the resources on Azure. So I see, okay, these are the resources I want to build. Now, what is already there in the cloud that I don't know? So they came up with this logic. Okay, let's have this TF state file, then let's compare. Okay, that's what is the logic behind the Terraform state file. So it helps to know what already exists, what needs to be created, what needs to be updated or destroyed from the state file. Think of state like a database or record of your infrastructure. So think of the state file like a database or it's a record of your infrastructure. So it's like, you also maintain some Excels or, people write something in notebook, right? So this is the expenditure for the month, or these are the things which we need to buy if you are moving to a new house. Okay, that's like a to-do list. So what we have already bought, what we are going to buy, what we need to repair. So all these things we are making one list, right? Similarly, here also, Terraform is trying to create a database or a record of your infrastructure. And here is example. If Terraform creates an Azure resource group, it stores the name, ID, and configuration details. So next time you run Terraform plan, it compares your code, which is a decide state versus .tf state file. And Terraform decides what changes are needed. And some important part of this state file, where state is stored. So far we have been seeing that all the state files are getting saved in local. Even just now I showed you that TF state file is getting saved in the root directory where I'm running these commands, right? So that is a local state. The second one is a remote state. There are two states. One is a local state, second is a remote state. So what is a local state? It is a default location. Local state is a default location where it stores terraform.tf state stored in your working directory. We use local state in a default location. It is good for learning and testing, but not in the enterprise. When you are trying to implement Terraform in your office, in any enterprise, it's not a good practice to maintain local state. Then what we should do? We should maintain remote state. So what is remote state? It is used when multiple people or automation interacts with Terraform. When multiple people are trying to run this Terraform, then we need to use this remote state. So common backends. So this terraform.tf state file is one file which is getting saved, right, in the local. Now, if I am using a remote state, where should I be saving this remote state file? So there are multiple options. Now that I'm using Azure account and Azure Cloud, I will store this Terraform state file in Azure storage account inside one of the blobs. If you are using AWS, you can go ahead and use S3 bucket. If you are using Google Cloud, you can go ahead and use GCS bucket. And the other option is Terraform Cloud. You can also save your state file in Terraform Cloud. So what is the benefit? Benefit is better collaboration, better security and backups, locking. So there will be a locking which will prevent parallel conflicting changes. So two people are trying to run and Terraform state file um, will be conflicting with those changes. So we'll see a little more about state locking. Then we'll go and do this lab. What is this state locking? State locking prevents multiple people from applying changes at the same time. It prevents multiple people from applying changes at the same time, as they could overwrite each other changes. So if two people are trying to update the same configuration file, so they can overwrite each other changes and some of the changes can be lost. And the state locking is enabled automatically with remote backends, Azure Blob or Terraform Cloud or any other cloud. How Azure state locking works, let's see. Terraform runs apply or plan, then it requests a lease lock on the .tf state file stored in Azure storage. So run Terraform run once you run Terraform apply or Terraform plan, so what it does, it will contact Azure Cloud and it requests a lease lock on the TF state file stored in Azure storage. So while lease is held, no one else can modify the state. Any second Terraform apply will wait or fail. So when lease is held, no one else can modify the state. Only the one who is trying to, who has who is trying to apply or plan first, so it will be locked for him. And any second person who is trying to do apply or plan, he has to wait or his request will fail. So once the operation is complete, lease is released. So this is how the state locking works. And here Azure Storage uses blob leasing feature as a lock mechanism. So this is how the state lock works. Let's see the lab. Let's see the local state and remote state. So there are two labs, local state and remote state. We'll go and do the first one first, change directory. So let's see what we have inside this file, inside this folder, sorry, 01 local state. I have this main.tf file. I've declared locals. So this is a locals block. Then this is a resource block. I'm creating a resource group. Then I'm creating a Azure storage account. I'm creating a container. I'm creating this because I need this for my remote state. So I just thought, I will keep this as part of local state um, lab. I'll go ahead and run Terraform init. I want the storage account and I want the container to be created as part of this lab. Terraform init is done, then Terraform plan. You see here Terraform state file is, it just went ahead, checked everything, it generated the plan, and it deleted the TF state file. Do you observe that? So yeah, I'll run it again. You observe that Terraform state file. So this is the Terraform state file. It is It got created, then it checked everything, it showed you the plan, then it removed the TF state file from the local. So the actual one will will be created during Terraform apply. Terraform apply, auto approve. So once this state file is created, so I should be able to see resource details of my resource group. One, second is my storage, third is my container. For all these three, I should be able to see the details inside my TF state file. Still creating. This is the resource group which I'm trying to create. What is the resource group? Techlines dev RG. Okay, this is the storage account. Storage account is created, yeah. And I think even this container should be there. I'll check here, containers. Yeah, I see one container, TF state. So nothing else is there inside TF state. You see here, terraform.tfstate is created as mentioned earlier. So I'm trying to create three resources as part of this demo. And I see this one is the first one. So here is the resources block and mode is managed by Terraform. And this is the RG resource group. Name type is this, provider is this, and instance is this. So these are the details related to my resource group. So this is first one. And this is the second one. This is my storage account. Details related to storage account are here. And the third resource managed by Terraform, and it is a storage container. Details related to container are here. Third one is this. Yeah. So this is what Terraform state file looks like, and it has the details of the resources which you create. So this is about local state. So it has created a Terraform state in my local. Now we'll go to the next lab, that is how do you create a remote state. So you won't be keeping your Terraform state file in the local anymore. You will be making use of the storage account which I just created. I just created one storage account and container, right? So we'll be making use of that one. I will be keeping my generator TF state file there inside this storage account container. Inside this, I want to save the Terraform state file. How do we do that? So main.tf is there, which has these details, locals, and I'm just trying to create a resource group now. And providers, which is already there. And a new TF file I have added. Let's see what is inside this TF state file. So this is how we declare the backends. Backend is nothing but remote state file details. So this we need to declare so that the Terraform state file gets saved in the location where we mentioned in the location which we mentioned in this file. So I mentioned the resource group name. So this is the resource group. Okay, dev rg. Okay, I already added tech clients dev rg, and the storage account name. This is the storage account name. This is already added. Container name. Go to this container and see tf state. So this container name is added. Container is nothing but a folder. Okay, key. So this is the file name. So dev.terraform.tfstate. So this is my dev environment. I want to save my dev related resource details inside this dev.terraform.tfstate. Similarly, you can maintain a different file for test environment, stage environment, prod environment. Only in the same folder, same container you can use, or you can use a different storage account, different container, and different file. So what the best practice what we have seen, I have seen so far, is that for each environment they maintain different storage account, container, and file. So different storage account, different resource group, different storage account, different container is what I have seen. So coming back to this lab, so let's go. And so I have already declared, and the expectation is that the new tf state file which gets created during once I run terraform apply, that should be saved inside this the storage account which I created. Go to this folder 02 remote terraform init. Terraform plan. Last terraform apply, right, auto approve. a, a simple question before this while this gets completed applied. Oh, what is happening with respect to locking when I run this? Can anyone answer? We just covered what is state locking, right? What is happening?
Sorry, I was on mute. While running, I think it's creating a log file temporarily, and once it ran complete, it's releasing it again. That's what I can say.
Yeah. So when I run this, it is not it's not file. It is locking this file actually.
Yes.
So it is locking this file, then it is updating for me, then it is releasing at the end. Yeah, you're correct there. So few times what happens, uh, sometimes some of them who don't know that, this Terraform apply has to complete. They sometimes um, you know, they press Control C and they come out of the session. So what happens? It will be in between, like it has logged and it has not unlocked. So then you have to come here. And what happens in that situation? So this state file gets locked, and people who are the other team members who are trying to run Terraform apply or use this, right? Uh, they get this error. The state file is already locked. Then you have to come here and unlock. There is an option to unlock somewhere here, like mm, so we can unlock from here actually. So there will be one option to unlock. We can come here and unlock. So that's one thing. So now let's see tf state Terraform state file inside this container. Check it from here. Let's see. Mhm. Add my IP address inside this networking. I just added my IP address in this one storage account, and let me try again. Blob container. Oh my God. I can see this now. Terraform state file. And I click on edit just to see what is inside this. You can see the details of this state file. I just created one resource group. So under this resources, you will be seeing only one resource group related details. Okay, it will be a smaller one because we haven't created multiple resources. We just created one resource group, and that is here. Mode is managed and name is RG, and more details about the resource group. So this is how Terraform remote state files um, works. Okay, we manage these state files in the remote backends. So for Azure, we use the storage account and we keep that inside one of the containers. And this is how we declare the details of this backend, the storage account name, resource group name, container name, and the key is nothing but the state file name. So this is about remote backends. And tomorrow I'll be covering a few more things about state. There are some state commands, and I'm working on some documentation at the moment. So we'll be seeing what is Terraform import. We'll be seeing Terraform pull, Terraform push tomorrow. How do we maintain multiple state files? And we also see how we can use state files in outputs. So that is the plan for tomorrow. Are there any questions on today's session, today's topics, like locals, remote states, variables, sorry, outputs and local
Uh, remote this remote state
state? Yes,
state, Ramesh. So we obviously the state files is something like HCD database in the K8s Kubernetes, or it's kind of metadata for all the configuration of our infrastructure itself, right? So will
correct.
there be backups set or versioning setup for every state files in our blob storage? Or for example, if something if somebody locks it, and if there is a chance of not unlocking, there is unlocking not possible, or corruption happen, right?
Hmm.
So will it right away impact the any of the infrastructure, or since it's just a metadata, we just can restore it kind of? How does that work literally in that scenarios?
Yes, Srinath, I understand your question. It is a very good question. And practically, this is something we come across. Every state file we manage, right, in the remote backends, there will we need to enable versioning. Okay, so every time I change, so today I have applied, and tomorrow somebody will be applying Terraform, right? So what is happening? Few changes are happening to the state file. So every time somebody is making changes, there will be a version of that. So we will be enabling versioning for this state file, and it is inside this. And So, so you see these versions. So no previous versions found. So we enable this versioning for this state file. So same how in the Git, how it maintains every time somebody is trying to update. So there is a version getting created. You can roll back or go forward, right? So that kind of option is there. The versioning is enabled. We must enable versioning for this. One is that. Second is we also need to take enable this backups for this. So in worst case, uh, if it is gone, then we should be able to restore. So the backup should be on this storage account. We should enable storage account side backups we should be enabling. So that's how we can protect this file. Okay. And it's a very good question.
Yeah.
So any other question? So we'll be covering, a few other things on state tomorrow. Okay. So you'll better understand how this is working. Yeah, I will also try to show how to enable this version and all tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you. Ramesh, may I know like if yesterday's PPT is shared? I think
Yesterday, so Srinivas, we moved to this Git repo here
okay.
for yesterday, right? If you go here to variables, everything I
Okay.
covered is inside this. Okay, we are not using PPTs. We are just, I moved out of that so that you can find the
Hmm.
content as well as the lab related in a single Git
Got it.
repo. Okay,
Yeah, can you ping this in that WhatsApp group or here?
sure. I'll ping it. I'll ping the link.
Yeah, thank you, Ramesh.
No problem. Okay, then it's already 9 o'clock. That's it for the day. We'll continue tomorrow on the state management. Yep. Thank you all.
Yeah. Thank you, Ramesh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a good day, Ramesh.
Yeah, good night, Amar. Bye.